Welcome back to the Life of the Caesars. Ray Johnson Harris.
Thank you.
Ray Johnson. Ray.
Fresh meat. Just call me fresh meat.
Big
That's
Dick
fine.
Harris. Fresh meat. This is Vitellius 20.
Right.
And the last of the Vitellius episodes, I think.
Sadly, yes.
Sadly. Well, maybe this one and the next one. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Right.
In our last episode, a lot of bad shit went down. There was the sort of an attack on Rome, burning of a temple, the violent death of Flavius Sabinus, the collapse of the deal that had been brokered between Vitellius and the Flavian people that he was negotiating with, when he decided, you know what, maybe should I? No, I'll go. Oh no, I'm staying. I'm staying. Right?
Yeah,
no,
right,
go.
right.
No. Stay. Go.
Surprise!
It's all too hard.
Yeah.
It's all
Yes.
too hard.
Exactly.
So I think where we ended last time is Vitellius reached out to Antonius and said, "Look, can I get a couple of days of respite here? Got a few things.
Right.
Got a few. So
Right.
I had my suitcases packed. I unpacked them. Now I need
Yeah.
to it's confusing.
Looking for the passport. I can't. Damn it! It was in this toga. I'm going to need a couple. Here's what got me. There were several deputations that were sent to Antonius, but when you send the Vestal Virgins out and the Flavians go, "Fuck you," and knowing they're talking to Vestal Virgins, you know you're not going to get a peace deal. You know you're not going to get a delay. You know you're not going to get a reprieve. This war is not over. To my mind.
Good move though, sending virgins.
Yeah. 'Cause what do? You could be mean to virgins. That's not.
Yeah,
cool.
like they've got enough problems. You can't be.
Or are they the most serene motherfuckers you've ever? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
No.
They're
You
very
ever met a
tense.
nun? I mean, nuns are the unhappiest people on earth, man.
They love
Because
to
they're
hit you
getting
with
none.
rulers. Yeah, the nuns are getting none.
Yeah, they're just pissy and not allowed to touch the bean. Not allowed to let anyone else touch the bean. Like it's
tough being a nun.
fucked up.
They're the
Yeah.
Rodney Dangerfield of priests. It's tough being a nun, I tell you.
I don't get no respect.
Or dick. Sorry, I shouldn't have.
I was listening to. I tried to get Fox to watch an old Adam Sandler movie, Big Daddy, yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And the
Yeah.
opening of the film, he's on the phone to his father, who's berating him for being lazy, and you just hear the voiceover. And I thought, is that Dangerfield? It sounded like it was Dangerfield doing his father, but I didn't get a chance to look it up.
Oh. Well,
but
let's stop right
I
now.
miss Dangerfield.
Yes, Caddyshack. He was amazing.
Hey,
Anyway,
I don't get
Yeah.
no respect. I remember hearing, I think it was Jim Carrey years ago being interviewed and talking about when he first moved to LA to try to break into comedy. Dangerfield was sort of his mentor, took him aside and, gave him a lot of tips and
cool.
helped him get on his feet when he was 17 or 18 or something, trying to break into the scene from Canada, where he came from. Back to Antonius. So Antonius did not agree to. He's a bit like Vladimir Putin at the moment. Remember when Trump? Remember in Trump's campaign, he said the war in Ukraine would end on day one that he got elected.
Day one, bitches. Yeah.
He's now in month 4, and now that he's done a minerals deal with Zelensky,
Right.
he's trying to pressure Putin into taking some sort of a bad peace deal, and Putin's like, "Yeah, I don't think so." And now Trump's just calling him crazy. It's not going well. It's a bit like that. Antonius did try and calm his troops down, though.
Yeah.
His troops wanted to just go Vestadio on all of Rome.
Right.
Remember, it's not his troops that are actually in Rome. Well, it's one of his divisions that sort of took the initiative and started causing some shit in the old hometown. But he does manage to convince his troops to hold off overnight. Look, it's better to go in. If you're going to go to Rome, he can't stop them. They're chomping at the bit. Better to go on a full stomach, good night's sleep. Don't go to Rome half-cocked. Go full-cocked. If you're going to do anything, go full-cocked. Don't go half-cocked.
My mama, she always go full-cocked.
Look,
she always.
You have a hard enough problem as it is convincing people you have a full cock. I mean, it's people are like, that's just a half a cock, and you're like, no, this is
get no
full.
respect. I get no respect.
This is fully erect.
It's full to me.
Talking about?
It's full to me.
Yeah.
It's all relative. It's like science.
Should have seen it before the surgery.
Oh my God.
They camp about 3 miles north of the Milvian Bridge. He parades them. He's trying to keep them busy. You know what it's like.
Busy work.
These guys want blood.
He
He planned for them to enter Rome on the 21st of December, which would have given Vitellius the pause that he asked for. However, his troops are suspicious at any pause. What's going on? And we know that, I mean, it's understandable. These guys have seen emperor replaced by emperor, replaced by emperor. They're not trusting anybody right now. They think that there's a con going on somewhere. And they're probably right. There's probably cons going on. There's deals going on, backroom deals. I mean, that's just human nature. Like, if there's one thing that I have learnt over the years is that corruption is endemic everywhere in every society at every time. There's always psychopaths. There's always corrupt individuals that are trying to make a backroom deal whenever there's an opportunity. So I don't blame his troops for being suspicious.
No, not only that, not only are they chomping at the bit, like you said, because they had like 2 jobs, and one of them was to save Vespasian's brother. They didn't do that, so they're looking to kick ass and chew bubble gum. The other thing is that they're hearing information. They don't know what to believe. They don't know what to trust. Are there Vitellian troops at the Milvian Bridge? Are there not? Are they professional soldiers? Or are they just rabble-rousers with weapons? Because we heard he passed them out like candy. So again, you're right. It's just a very fluid situation. But I'll tell you what handles a fluid situation: a sword through the gut. You know where you stand, either on either end, really. And these guys are just wanting to end whatever questions there are by killing everybody in front of them. And that's a soldier's response to problems.
So Vitellius had civilians armed and stationed themselves sort of on the border of Rome, just on the other side of where the Milvian Bridge was. For whatever reason, Antonius's troops see these guys, think that they're actually the front line of a much bigger force that Vitellius has got that's protecting Rome. He's supposed to be stepping down. He's supposed to be walking away. That was the deal.
Nope.
Now Flavius Sabinus is dead. Domitian is missing. They don't know what's happened to Domitian, the son of Vespasian. And they think there's some sort of corruption going on. That's why they're being held back. Anyway, they basically can't be held back, and they just decide to go and attack the fuck out of Rome. The Milvian Bridge is fairly narrow, and it was being successfully held by these Vitellian civilians. So the Antonius's cavalry crossed the Tiber, which was fairly shallow despite some recent rain, and they take the defenders in the rear, which is fun if you're in prison, or if you've been. As we've said many times, look, if you're going to get taken in the rear, you need some time to limber up. You need to do some stretching exercises first.
Kegels?
Do some squats.
Is that right? I don't know.
Kegels, yeah.
Kegels, I don't.
You need to be lubed up. it's not something you want to rush into. Slowly,
No,
gently.
you don't want to be rushed into. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No,
Particularly if somebody's coming at you not half cocked. If they're coming half cocked, maybe you can
like
speed it
pushing
up a
rope.
little bit. But if they're coming fully cocked, no, you don't want to rush that.
No. And I've learned this the hard way, mostly in Vegas. Don't brace. Never brace.
Never brace.
Anyway,
relax. Fully relax. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but you're right, because I think it's fair to say that the Antonius's men are the superior troops, but a bridge, this is military 101, a bridge negates your numbers because you can only put so many, people facing them at one time. So, but you're right. Fortunately, the Tiber was, calm. They were able to get around. So they've cleared the bridge. They've cleared the civilians or whatever other troops near the bridge. So they're going to get access to Rome. But this is just going because Rome is a very large place. There's Vitellian troops all over the place. And they know if they lose, they're probably going to die after taking it from the rear. So the point is they are, to whatever degree, motivated to fight back, even though they are fighting within Rome. So things don't look good for them right now.
Oh, I'm hard. Hard. I'm going to need a moment. Okay, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, can I just, for officially, for those of you who don't remember the origin story of that sound clip, that was me pretending to smoke a blunt, not enjoying myself or trying to get over pleasuring myself, which I do several times a show. That's not anyways, I don't know if that's important or not, but it's kind of out of context. Go ahead.
So the civilian militia were quickly swept aside, and by late morning, the Flavian army was on the outskirts of Rome, and they were divided into three sections. One column just went straight down the Via Flaminia. Another one went down the banks of the Tiber, passing by the mausoleum of Augustus, where you and I were standing about 7 years ago. Before it was open to the public. We haven't been back to Rome since it's open to the public.
Back. Yeah.
We got to go back. The third division turned left and moved towards the Praetorian barracks.
Yeah, it's got to be handled.
When the fighting was happening outside of the city, they mostly favored the Flavians, but when it got into the city streets, the Flavians were being pelted with tiles from rooftops, and the civilian militia and whatever was left of Vitellius's army are hiding around corners. They've dug themselves in. As we know, fighting inside of cities is treacherous. Your cavalry can't operate. Your testudo is not really very effective going down a street. Yeah. Typical Roman military tactics break down a lot when you're in the middle. They're not designed for being in the middle of a built-up city like Rome. They're designed to be out in a field, in a valley, laying siege to a town, not fighting street to street of a major metropolis like Rome was then. But the bit I love the most about this story is that the civilians seem to think it was just great entertainment.
Look, it's Christmas time. Come, it's Saturnalia. They're going to have fun.
Got this section from Tacitus, which is great. He says, the populace stood by and watched the combatants, and, as though it had been a mimic conflict, encouraged first one party and then the other by their shouts and plaudits. Whenever either side gave way, they cried out that those who concealed themselves in the shops or took refuge in any private house should be dragged out and butchered, and they secured the larger share of the booty, for, while the soldiers were busy with bloodshed and massacre, the spoils fell to the crowd. It was a terrible and hideous sight that presented itself throughout the city. Here raged battle and death, there the bath and the tavern were crowded. In one spot were pools of blood and heaps of corpses, and close by prostitutes and men of character as infamous. There were all the debaucheries of luxurious peace, all the horrors of a city most cruelly sacked, till one was ready to believe the country to be mad at once with rage and lust. It was not, indeed, the first time that armed troops had fought within the city. They had done so twice when Sulla, once when Cinna triumphed. The bloodshed then had not been less, but now there was an unnatural recklessness, and men's pleasures were not interrupted even for a moment. As if it were a new delight added to their holidays, they exulted in and enjoyed the scene, indifferent to parties and rejoicing over the sufferings of the Commonwealth. He makes it sound like people were fucking whilst looking out the windows, going, yeah, kill him, oh, yeah, kill him, oh, I'm so hard right now. I think I have a clip of this.
I'm hard.
I'm just hard, but I take your point, sir. I'm so hot and bothered right now. I can't believe I'm saying this, but if you can move off my penis. Good thing I was drunk. That's not sexy. I don't want to talk about it. It's painful.
Oh, God.
It's fun to talk about.
Oh, speaking of being half-cocked.
It's not the length. It's what you do with it while you have it. That's right. And that window gets shorter each time. Go ahead. No, but does that not sum up Rome for you? Get him, kick his ass, and then kick his ass. And then when the bodies fall, you run over there real quick. You cut the little coin purse loose. You go back up to the roof and you start all over again. Meanwhile, you get a little bit while you're watching. Good time.
Good times. Good times in Rome.
Yeah.
I think it does, assuming that Tacitus is accurately describing the scene and the events.
Right.
It suggests that Rome was at a point, it's late in 69, like they had Nero died, then they had Galba and Otho and Vitellius, and now there's another one going on. And I think really, put yourself in that position. It's just been like the most chaotic year in the history of Rome since since the days of Clodius. It's crazy times, and it's must have been hard for the people not to just go, you know what, fuck it. This is it's just the end of times.
Right.
Yeah.
We're moving to Scotland. Fuck this.
Fuck and rape and pillage and get it while we can get it, because who knows? This could be the last days on Earth,
Well, you said maybe a year ago now, but you've said it in different ways on different shows, but to the average person, does it really matter which group of psychopaths is ruling you? So fuck them both. Fuck them all. Whatever. If you get a chance to have a little fun, you break some laws, you probably won't get caught, and help in the murder or death of some of these cocksuckers, fuck it. Again, you're going to have to go back to work on Monday. You're going to have to put on that apron and cut those pig or whatever the fuck it is that you do. Maybe for a weekend they can actually have, a little fun. But again, how could they not be, if they are completely cynical, how could they not be near the end of the year 69?
And it is Saturnalia. So people
That's
are
right.
fucking and drinking and,
yeah,
slaves are fucking their masters' wives and fucking their masters. And it's all on for young and old. They just, this is just part of the general Saturnalia entertainments, right? And we have to keep in mind, this is Rome. It's a much more violent time. People are going to gladiator shows. They're used to bloodshed. They're used to violence.
Yeah. It's entertainment.
They're not squeamish.
Right.
It's very much part and parcel of life in ancient Rome, even for the civilians in the city. But it also indicates to me sort of just the breakdown of the fiber of their society. I do see this as similar to where the US is today and the re-election of Trump. I do think there's a large sector of society that just goes, you know what, fuck it. They're all corrupt. All the politicians are corrupt. They're all as bad as each other. Let's just vote to burn the place down and see what happens.
Or burn it down ourselves. whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. I mean, that's how I feel.
I think
that is truly how I feel. Yeah.
people do eventually just get tired of the lies and the cheating and the corruption and the scandals, and they just, you can only put up with so much, and you go, you know what? I give up.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Why
should I be the moral one? Why should I be the one with ethics? Why should I be the one trying to do the right thing when everyone else is just raping and pillaging around me?
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
There is a limit.
Yeah. Get while the getting's good, baby. Yeah, no, it's chaos. It's the Wild West, politically once again, and morally once again.
Yeah, and that
Like in
is
Rome.
one of the challenges in a society. The fish rots at the head, right? If you don't have leadership that has a relatively high standard of ethics, virtue, morals, then the people, you can fool them for a while, but eventually the people are like, I know what's going on. Why?
I've seen this.
Anyway,
yeah, fuck him.
The heaviest fighting, of course, was around the Praetorian barracks, where the most devoted Vitellians fought to the bitter end.
Yes.
And the problem being the Vitellians really had nothing much to inspire them at this juncture. It's not like, we love the emperor?
The current
really?
Serving.
Didn't he just say he was resigning and then walked it back and changed his mind? Or what do we have? Where is he right now? What is the
does
status
anybody
of,
know? Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't we just kill what was Sabinus? Was he a consul, or was he a tribune, or
he was a prefect of the city?
Prefect of the city.
Prefect
We
of
just
the
killed
city,
the prefect of the city. Yay!
Yay!
Like it's our guy's been emperor for 8 months.
Yay! Let's go for 9. 9 months. 9 months, and that was their chant.
Tacitus suggests they fought not for Vitellius really, but just out of professional pride. All right, boys, this is what we do. We fight.
We're going down. We know we're going down, but go down like men.
Go down like Roman soldiers.
Go down like you're in prison. No, that's different. Go down. Make Rome proud. I don't know, but you got to give some speech, right? You got to say something if you're the commander.
Well, the Praetorians all died.
Yes.
But they died facing the enemy. They got stabbed from the front and not from the back, running away. They gave it a good show, unlike Vitellius.
I mean, just because it's around 2:00 on this day and he assesses the situation and he's in the palace and he's like, it's time to leave the palace because you talked earlier about the Antonian force breaking up into 3 parts. Well, obviously one or all of those parts are going to end up at the palace at some point because that's the whole point of this. So he sneaks out the back door, and let's be honest, it's never a good sign when your leader has to sneak out the back door. But he leaves the palace and he goes out and he goes back to his house on the Aventine. His wife and children are already there. They had already been sent there. So he's like, okay, what's the plan? Well, maybe if we hide out long enough, my brother will come with his forces from Terracina and we can have a real resistance because obviously whatever's going on now is not working. So it's hope and wait, which is normally not a very effective tactic.
Yeah, and it's sort of a pretty demeaning response as emperor to run and hide.
He should
in
be
your
out
house.
there swinging his penis on a sword, something. He's in his late
and I
50s.
think this says a lot. This says a lot about Vitellius. He wasn't a great soldier. He wasn't a great general. He wasn't. His dad was famous. That's really the only thing he had going for him was his dad.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, his dad's not here to
No.
lead the charge.
Daddy?
So
Right. Sorry.
he's going to try and escape at night to join up with the forces of his brother Lucius coming in from Terracina. But then he changes his mind for some
Damn right.
reason, Vitellius. Probably because he figures, wow, they're going to come. If they find him not in the palace, they're going to come to the house.
Yeah.
So, and he wants, I guess, to save his wife and children, which is
Oh.
reasonable.
Yes.
So he told his wife and family to leave,
Mhm.
and he returns to the palace.
Thank goodness.
Decides to try and defend the palace with his personal servants, what he has left. Gets to the
Exactly.
palace and finds that it's empty. There is nobody left. Everybody, including the servants, have gotten the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah. I get paid to pour
wandering-
wine. That's all.
Yeah.
I pour the wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wave the palm frond. That is all I do. That's in my contract. I am outie.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
There's no one there. He's wandering through the palace.
Right.
It's completely empty, completely deserted. He
That's
can't find a
massive.
weapon.
right.
Half the rooms have been locked because the servants are trying to protect the cutlery on their way out. They at least had the presence of mind to lock the doors, make it
Well,
a bit
they're all-
harder for the Flavians to come and rape and pillage the place.
Well, not only that, but they're hoping they can come back in a couple of days and they'll still have their job. So let me show that I'm responsible. I'll lock my office, and when I come back,
Sure.
maybe I'll still be gainfully employed with a new boss. Who knows?
Yeah. Just like the new boss, just like the old boss.
Exactly.
So he panics and disguises himself as a slave, takes a watchdog from a kennel, ties
Right.
it to the outside of the door of a porter's apartment, then goes inside the apartment, jams the door from the inside with a bedhead,
Yeah.
and hides, dressed up as a slave with a dog out the front to keep away the soldiers.
It's the best of a bad situation. I think we can all agree. I mean, I would have done the washerwoman route, but whatever. I don't know what his acting skills are, but I guess we're about to find out. Who knows?
He dressed up as a lady and put on a voice like this. No, I'm a lady.
Washerwoman. Yeah. Anyway, so, and you've mentioned this a couple of times. We have to remember that this is way slightly back before the internet. It's not like everybody in Rome, everybody in the army, no matter where you're from, knows what this guy looks like. So he's got a chance, at least stalling or pulling this off or whatever. Again, it comes down to his acting chops. But it's not like everybody walks around with a picture of him in their underwear. I mean, maybe he can get away with this. Who knows?
Particularly the Flavian troops who've come from the Danube. I mean, they've never seen this guy before. They don't know what he looks
Right.
like. They got no idea. So he is found by the troops, but they don't. They think he is a lady because they're not judging, and they don't want to. They don't want to use the wrong pronoun. Get in
Exactly.
trouble. The
Yeah,
first question
yeah.
they asked him is by which
What-
pronouns he identified himself with, and so he thought he'd gotten away with it
Yes.
until a
Oh.
cohort tribune, Julius Placidus, turned up on the scene and recognized him.
Yeah, I know him a mile off, Gov. That's the bugger you're looking for. Quick question. Just your personal response would be appreciated. I looked up Julius Placidus as much as I could on the internet. This is as far as I could tell, this is the only thing he is known for throughout whatever history, whatever he didn't do in his life. We'll never know. We just know that he's the guy that fingered. That came out wrong. Vitellius.
Oh.
That, So, I mean, but that's literally all. There's like a one-line sentence and everything. He's the guy who identified, him to the Danubian troops. So I guess it's better than nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, he made his mark in history. Yeah, I recognized Vitellius.
That's my thing. That's my jam.
I've trained all my life for this job. I have a
And it
very
worked.
peculiar set of skills.
Actually, skill. Just one?
Just one skill, really. I can recognize people. One person.
what I do.
I've trained my
That's what I
whole
do.
life to recognize this guy. Yeah.
That's my jam.
Vitellius begged them to keep him in custody or throw him in prison and wait for Vespasian or Antonius to get there.
Yeah.
But, they...
He's got to go to plan
They-
2.
Yeah, they weren't up for that.
Right.
His hands were tied behind his back, cord was tied around his neck, and he was dragged through the forum. Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ray,
Yeah.
you know, I was talking before about where Rome is as a city, but like him or hate him, this guy is the emperor.
That's true.
And that
is
used to
true.
mean something.
It did. It did. Not now.
But now, when you're tying emperors' hands behind their back and throwing ropes around their necks and dragging them through the forum,
No respect. No respect.
there's no respect for
Rodney
the
Dangerfield.
office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's no respect for the office. There's no respect anymore for the sanctity of any of these offices. We're
Yeah.
not just talking about Praetorians killing Nero here. We're talking about
Yeah.
just soldiers going, you know what? Don't care. Don't care about the title. Don't care about the badge. Don't care about anything. You're just scum.
Well, if I could make a really bad comparison, because I feel that's my strong suit, let's just theoretically go back to the United States of 1970s or 1980s. You had your Democrats, you had your Republicans. They had different ideas about how the government should be run, what should be the moral center, whatever. But there wasn't, oh, you're a what? Let me sum up your entire existence by you telling me if you're a Democrat or Republican, which is what we do today. So again, I know it's a very vague comparison, but it's like at one point, the idea of putting your hands on a consul, just, the body was sacrosanct, even the tribune of the plebs, sacrosanct. Even a Roman citizen out in a province, you weren't allowed to whip their back. Their back was sacrosanct. So we've gone from that to, I don't give two shits about you. I will treat you like the lowest. I'll treat you like an ox. I will tie this rope around you. I will drag you through the streets. Fuck you. You mean nothing to me. You're right. The office. Well, and you've kind of said this before, I think, but if the office doesn't mean that much to the people running the place or the people that are vying for office, how in the hell is it going to mean anything to the people? But whatever respect or whatever word should be put in there, it doesn't exist anymore. It's been denuded over time. And especially when you have 3 emperors in 1 year, how can you honestly take it seriously? I mean, come on, we're just playing a game here, right? This is just survival on steroids. That's my 2 cents.
It was denuded by the Danubans. Denuded by the Danubes.
Exactly right. So they took his ass.
I think it's the analogy you make is interesting. Like, it brings to mind the idea, what if a bunch of soldiers just marched into the White House and grabbed Trump and tied his hands behind his back and threw a rope around his neck and just started dragging him through the streets of Washington? That's basically, I mean, were that to happen, that would be an example of where Rome is at right now. Don't care. Don't give a shit about the job, the tradition. It's just,
office.
We have absolutely no respect for the office or for you, and that may yet happen. We'll see.
Right.
So he's getting dragged through the forum. They're making him keep his head up so he can see them toppling his statue of him throughout the city. He's looking into their faces. And then some soldier from the German armies comes up sees this happening and jumps in with his sword.
Right.
Tacitus isn't sure if he was trying to put Vitellius out of his misery or rescue him somehow, but he
Right.
swings his sword in the general direction of Vitellius.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't hit him, but does manage to cut off the ear of,
Damn.
I think, Julius Placidus. It's the other
Yeah,
thing he
that's
was
how.
known for,
That's
losing his
what
ear.
Right. Right.
They nicknamed him
Vincent Van.
Julius Placidus Van Gogh later on.
We synced. Yeah, yeah. Look, I do my one good thing so I can get in the history. Now I lose a fucking ear.
Yeah.
He hates Rome.
God damn it.
He really hates Rome.
This German soldier gets immediately killed.
Yes.
So
Asshat.
Vitellius is driven forward. He's getting spat on. People calling him names and pointing
Yeah.
and laughing. He's dragged past the spot where Galba
Yeah.
had been killed. Maybe, I don't know, 9, 10 months earlier or something
Right.
like that, beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I think it was
Yeah.
January. Well, I think it was like January when Galba
So
was
9
killed.
months. Or no, it's 12 months. Sorry. Yeah.
And he was dragged up to the top of the Germanian steps, where they tend to throw off people they don't like.
Yeah.
And he is abused by his captors, and his last words, supposedly, according to Tacitus, are,
Mm-hmm.
"Despite everything, I was your emperor."
Well, at least he knew to use the past tense. Too soon? No, but no, he makes a point, and you made that point a minute ago. Yeah, I was an emperor. I'm not just some dick soldier. So, but I'm guessing their reaction to that little last, whatever you want to call it, bon mot, they probably didn't take it very well. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to read this, whether he says it to them in a way that is, "How dare you, I was your emperor," or, "Hey, at least I had the job,
That's
May have
right,
only had it
that's
for
right.
8 months, but at least I will be remembered, motherfuckers. I was an emperor." Nah, 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 nah.
And he goes, and that's when he turned to One Ear. "Hey, One Ear, you only get one line in Wikipedia. Fuck you. I'll get an entire article. What do you think about that,
Yeah.
bitches?"
Yeah, I'll get paragraphs. He was killed. His body was dragged by a hook to the Tiber and thrown in to the river to be dragged away to sea.
And I think we made this joke a couple of months ago, or I can't remember now. And thus ends the year of the three emperors. Oh, no, wait, no, we're going to squeeze in one more. We'll squeeze, but seriously, that's the end of Vitellius. Yeah, we can sum him up, but he is no more. He had plans. And even earlier, we didn't get a chance to say this, but earlier he said, "Hey, you may not want to kill me because I'm the guy who might or might not know about certain assassins sent to, Vespasian." So, but nothing worked for him. Like you said, the respect, the dignity, whatever is gone. He was taken away and he was cut down like a dog. So he is no more.
Well, I think that's a natural ending point for the Vitellian series. We'll start next time with episode 1 of Vespasian.